So dear Jazz, this is a deeply introspective project made up of like diaristic conversations you're having with yourself, with your younger self.
Yes.
Lots of reconciling and working through trauma. What themes, unpack some of the themes that you're exploring on this project? What was happening in your personal life that found its way onto this project?
I think a lot of it I've understood in retrospect. So I've just written freely and then understood a lot of it later.
Okay.
So looking back, obviously love is like the main theme that runs throughout, but I think a lot of it is about finding home through the different transitions and everything we're going through in life. I think like even personal business, everything is about making sure that your home is in you're good. Like wherever you are, you're good. Yeah.
This project does feel like a soft reboot in your career. Is Dear Jazz the project that you always wanted to make? Is it the most authentic you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's the most honest me so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your voice is the focal point of these songs. It's an instrument of its own. How do you approach the vocal production? So when you're in the studio, are you somebody, is it an instinctive process, or are you constantly like, I need that to be perfect, I'm going to refine it and redo it again and again?
No, definitely instinctive. Like I think the reason I love a lot of old music is because you hear not errors, but like some of the stuff that's not perfect. And I think that just makes the track a bit more raw. So if it feels good, I'll go with it. And often enough, a lot of times when I do something, I'll do like 1 trillion takes and the first take is the best one. So I think it's just about how it feels.
The song Side of You is like my personal favorite from this project. So you released it as a single.
Yeah.
It's quite a loungy, late night, jazzy reverie. So talk me about the making of this song.
That song came like super quick. We made it like, I think in like a couple hours. And Emil had already like had the bassist, like the bass of the track already. And I think I heard it. I already had something in me, like was going through something anyway, which you can hear in the track, and just went and freestyled. And like the first lines was like, yeah, like how was the first 2 lines of the song, and I knew the direction I was going in. It was really quick. It was like, that's why I feel like this whole project is like a diary entry, because it was so just black, just came out of my mouth. Yeah.
You mentioned Emil. Talk to me about the other collaborators and producers you worked with on this project, and what did they bring to the experience?
So Emil, I actually met I think he's the last producer I met in this project, and we just clicked really well. I heard his music and just, he just has a classic sound, and I was just like, whoa, this is the stuff that's going to stay around for ages, and I wanted to be a part of it. And we made 2 songs for the project, both of them came really easy, and it was just a vibe. And then Fred Cox, my personal, absolutely love Fred, and I think we've created like my personal favorite song, Come Outside. And I think the stuff with Fred, like I never know what's going to happen when I go in the studio, and that's happened with a lot of the collaborators. I've got Alex and Eyes, who I've been to school with, so it's a lot of like past, present, future all in this, which is a bit like a diary. So yeah, it all makes sense.
You mentioned Come Outside, and it is one of the more upbeat moments on the project. Let's touch on the production. So there's like this slow build to like a propulsive beat, and your vocal is pitched as well.
Yeah.
I mean, talk me through the sonics on that one.
Honestly, we went in, and this is why I say, Fred, you don't know what you're going to create. And like that session was my favorite session like I've ever had, because we were just talking as we do. And then we was like, what are you listening to? Just listening to some music. And I'm a massive Drake fan, and I think the beginning, like I was like, Take Care is one of my favorite albums just because of the mood it creates. And I was like, I want to create a mood like this, which is kind of the vibe of the first half, if I can say that. And then Fred just started messing with it, because I was like, we should do something like where we switch up the tracks. Like I was even thinking at the end of the song, but it just came at the middle of the song. And Fred was messing with it. I could hear where he was going. I was like, if you get this right, we could both just hear it, and he did it, and it was just, it was wicked.
You mentioned like a reference being Drake's Take Care. So you are like predominantly like a R&B and soul artist, and you came up in that tradition. Like what else were you listening to? Which other artists and records were you like channeling on this project?
For this project?
For this project, yeah.
I think subconsciously, just because I'm always listening to Drake, Frank Ocean a lot of experimental stuff. But at the same time, I've been listening to, like, I love Amapiano, even though it's not featured on this. I feel like the freedom element of it, and maybe it is. The feel, like, that's why I love that music, that and house so much, because there's just, when I record, it's so free. So I wanted to kind of have that feeling within this project as well.
The final track, I mean, I hope I'm right here, the final track or a closing moment of the project is Home. So that's quite a string-laden gospel number.
Yeah, so key.
Why was that the final track? Why did that conclude the Dear Jazz experience?
So I actually made that song first with Silky, and it was in Birmingham, and it was just, I just remember starting it, and I knew it was special, but it's also called Home, and I think that's the kind of endpoint I wanted to get to with this project, is home, like your home is you. And that's what that song says. So I kind of thought, when I was placing them, home just made sense to be at the end, because that's where you want to go home.
Yeah. What do you want the casual listener to feel when they experience this project in its entirety? What would be the ideal outcome for you?
I think freedom, in a sense, like, there's so much going on in the world. I just want music to still be an escape, as it is for me. And I think hopefully the message that I'm trying to portray comes through. But yeah, freedom essentially is what I want.
So there's lots of ongoing conversation and debate about the UK soul and R&B scene, how it's marketed, underfunded. In your experience, like, how has the scene nourished you? To me, UK R&B is strong. There's so many incredible musicians within this tradition. But honestly, speaking from your experience, what's been your experience within this scene?
I completely agree. I think R&B music from the UK is wonderful. The scene is, for us, I think the music we create is thriving. I don't think there's so much room for us, or like a scene created for us, as there maybe is other genres here, which is slowly changing. But I think it's been important for me as an artist, and just mental health wise, to not focus on other people not building the scene. Like, I think we make great music and we have to continue doing that, and we have to go where it's appreciated. So yeah, but music from R&B music from the UK right now, I think, is at a great place.